Jump in, dodge a pit, and grab a power-up. 2025's platformer games are all about pure action and wild imagination. No boring tutorials required. Whether crashing through weird worlds or pulling off perfectly timed jumps while music blasts in the background, these games don't hold back on creativity or fun. So grab your controller, pick your favorite hero, robot, knight, or random blob, and get ready to bounce through 13 of the coolest platformers worth your time right now. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Alright, let's talk about Castlevania Symphony of the Night in the simplest way possible. This game drops you into a huge, mysterious castle that's just begging to be explored. As Alucard, moving around feels smooth, and jumping or fighting with monsters never gets old. Every corner hides something new, like secret rooms, tough bosses, and weird enemies. What really makes this game shine is how it mixes platforming and fighting. Sometimes you're just looking for a hidden passage, and sometimes you're in a big brawl with all sorts of odd creatures. The castle itself is like a giant puzzle. You unlock cool abilities as you progress, making impossible places suddenly reachable. And you know what? When you finally flip the castle upside down, it feels like a secret bonus level. The music gives everything an epic vibe, and even after hours, it's hard to get bored because there's always another secret waiting for you. Metroid. In Metroid, you land on a creepy alien planet with nothing but a basic blaster and some guts. That's exactly what it throws at you from the start. You play as Samus, all suited up, dropped into endless twisty tunnels full of weird creatures and space pirate baddies. The best part, there's no hand-holding. The game just pushes you to wander, get lost, and look for secrets in every corner. You discover cool power-ups, like rolling into a ball or blasting walls open. It always feels like a mini victory. Sometimes you find a new door and realize, oh, I need a special weapon for this. And suddenly the whole world opens up more. Boss fights can be tough, but nothing beats finally taking down some big alien after messing up a few times. Every hidden path and sneaky upgrade makes you feel a little smarter. Even now, exploring Zebes is still an adventure, packed with surprises and tough challenges. Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 was that one game everyone bragged about finishing, and it's easy to see why. You need to pick your robot nemesis and jump into their wild stages, each packed with clever traps, sneaky enemies, and all kinds of tough blocks and lasers. The coolest part? After beating each boss, Mega Man grabs a fresh new weapon, something like launching blades or bubble shots, and suddenly everything feels possible as you find each boss's weak spot. The fights are wild. One minute you're dodging bombs, and the other minute you're zipping through wind tunnels or hopping across lava. There's a real thrill figuring out what powers work best where, so the game always feels fresh. Every level has its own mini-adventure, and sometimes a tricky spot just means more practice until it clicks. That catchy music and colourful pixel look keep you coming back, even when dying is part of learning the ropes and feeling like a true hero. Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy is all about speed, wild jumps, and dodging danger at every turn. You're this tiny cube of meat, running and flinging yourself through hundreds of levels filled with spinning blades, collapsing floors, and all sorts of wild stuff that wants to shred you. The controls are super tight, so when you mess up, which you'll obviously do, the game drops you right back in without any wait. You get right back into the game instantly, so it always stays action-packed and fun. You slide up walls, bounce off corners, and have to react quick, using every bit of those fast moves to make it through the madness. Every finished level feels like a badge of pride, and when you see all the replays of your failed attempts, it's pure comedy. Super Meat Boy is a blast for anyone who loves challenging platformers and doesn't mind failing 100 times in a row just for that epic win.
Our kingdom is cursed. The prince has been kidnapped and taken to a forbidden land. Then again, they weren't prepared for...
Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. So moving on to Prince of Persia, this adventure feels like a non-stop action movie mixed with some wild acrobatics and sharp sword fighting. You play as Sargon, zipping through gorgeous, dense levels, packed with mean monsters, twisting traps, and plenty of secrets tucked just out of reach. It's all about jumping, dashing, slicing, and using clever powers like warping with a shadow copy, which lets you get real sneaky on bosses or just escape trouble. Every enemy and puzzle keeps you on your toes, but it never really punishes you if you mess up. Just try that jump or fight again in seconds. Picking up new amulets or powers is awesome, because it changes up your moves and helps you out against the bigger, tougher beasts. Boss battles feel huge, and the combat is flashy and quick, making every victory super satisfying. With so much variety and smooth controls, the fun just keeps rolling. Ori and the Blind Forest. Have you ever wanted to explore a forest that feels like it's straight out of a fairy tale? Ori and the Blind Forest is exactly that. You play as Ori, jumping, sliding, and bouncing along bright branches and glowing paths that are packed with little secrets around every turn. The moves are super smooth, so running up walls and leaping through tricky spots never gets old. There are lots of friendly creatures to meet, and some scary ones too, but most of the excitement comes from finding new powers and using them to reach places you couldn't before. You get to set your own save spots, which means you can play how you want and keep trying until you nail those tough jumps. The art and music make everything feel magical, and even though some puzzles and escapes are pretty challenging, it always feels rewarding when you finally make it through. Rayman Legends. What really makes this game stand out is its wild, creative style. Rayman Legends throws you into levels that look like bright cartoon worlds with so many fun details and smooth animations. It feels like everything is alive. There's non-stop variety too. Some stages make you run to the beat of music, flying through obstacles with wild timing. Others have tricky puzzles or big boss battles that aren't just about fighting, but dodging and thinking on your feet. You get to play as different silly heroes and even team up with friends for goofy multiplayer action, making every run more unpredictable. Unlocking new characters, chasing high scores, and finding hidden shortcuts fill every minute with surprises, and the controls always feel super simple. The whole vibe is playful, but packed with challenge. So whether you're jumping alone or together, it's always a blast chasing that next big win.
Sometime in the form of punishment and corruption.
Blasphemous 2. You know that feeling when a game just grabs you and won't let go? Blasphemous 2 nails that vibe right from the start. Every enemy looks intense, and every area feels dark, mysterious, and full of secrets. The controls are tight, and you get to pick from 3 wild weapons, each one with its own way to deal with monsters and break through new paths. Sounds exciting, right? Boss fights are super crazy, sometimes huge and scary, sometimes fast and unpredictable, and beating them always feels awesome. Plus, finding trinkets, swapping magic spells, and making your own combos lets you play how you want. Double jumps, smashing walls, teleporting between mirrors. There are so many tricks, and it's fun to get better and just explore the huge, creepy world. You never know what's around the next corner, but it's always worth pushing forward for that next challenge or weird surprise.
She still has her loyal followers to this day.
Now, I'm ready for anything. That's cute.
Psychonauts 2. It all starts with Raz, the circus kid with big dreams and even weirder psychic powers, diving into other people's minds and bouncing between the real world and crazy mental landscapes. Psychonauts 2 is a wild ride packed with fun jokes, weird puzzles, and loads of jumping, floating, and smashing through super trippy places. Every mind you enter is its own unique world, showing off the fears, hopes, and secret hang-ups of all kinds of odd characters. Mixing platforming and combat, you use your psychic powers to set things on fire, swing across gaps, or toss things with your mind, and every new power keeps things feeling fresh. It's awesome how the game switches up level design, so one minute you're bouncing around a giant game show, and the next you're fighting living worries and regrets. There's always something silly going on, but hidden under it all are some real stories about helping people and facing their problems. Hollow Knight. Nothing beats the rush of diving deep into Hollow Knight's underground kingdom and realizing just how massive everything is. Every time you pick a path, you're greeted by new enemies, crazy traps, and secret spots that push your skills. It's exciting learning how to dodge and fight, and every upgrade you find makes exploring even cooler. Maybe now you can double jump or smash through a wall you saw hours ago. Boss fights? They're tough, but finally beating one makes you feel super proud. The world is mysterious, packed with tiny hints and weird characters you want to chat with. Even just wandering around feels rewarding because there's always something fresh, like a new charm or shortcut. Losing all your loot can be rough, but getting better and making progress makes every win even sweeter. Hollow Knight is all about the thrill of exploring and figuring things out as you go. Super Mario Odyssey. Moving on to Super Mario Odyssey feels like a giant playground where every level is full of wild ideas and surprises. Mario teams up with his new buddy Cappy, who is a living hat, and together they travel to all kinds of crazy worlds, from city rooftops to sandy deserts, just for the fun of chasing down power moons. Tossing Cappy around isn't just for show. You can use it to grab coins, attack enemies, and even take control of anything from Goombas to dinosaurs. The game gives you tons of freedom to roam and find your own secrets, and trying out new moves like triple jumps or cap flips always feels satisfying. There's always something goofy to discover, like quirky costumes and charming side quests. Big boss battles and clever puzzles keep you busy but never too frustrated, thanks to smooth controls and unlimited lives. Whether you're hunting for moons or just exploring, it's excitement from start to finish.
You all right back there?
No way. It appears that the dimensions are collapsing on one another. If we cannot get to...
Right, the ship.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Not gonna lie, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is an absolute blast right from the very first jump. Everything is super fast and flashy, especially when you zip through portals and switch dimensions in the middle of a fight or chase. 1 second you're blasting wild robots, the next you're yanked into a whole new world with crazy colours, huge monsters, and all sorts of goofy weapons, like turning enemies into pixel art or making a mushroom buddy help you out. Swapping between Ratchet and Rivet is smooth, and they both get a ton of cool gadgets to play with. Exploring each planet is never boring, since there's always a new trick, secret or weird boss to mess with. The controls let you dash, wall run and grapple all over the place, so movement feels extra epic. It's just constant fun, funny moments, and a wild story with tons of energy packed in every level. Celeste. Our last stop brings us to Celeste, a game that's a true test of patience, bravery and jumping skills. You play as Madeline, who's climbing a snowy mountain with tons of obstacles, but it's not just about making perfect jumps, it's about beating your own doubts one step at a time. The controls are simple and tight, so every dash and wall climb feels like it's fully up to you, and even messing up is no big deal because respawning is super quick. The game is tough, but every time you nail a tricky spot or finish a brutal level, it feels awesome. The levels keep changing things up with new ideas, so it's never boring. Plus, the story hits hard. Dealing with problems, anxiety and self-doubt, right alongside Madeline makes every win more special. With cool pixel art, great music, and a bunch of secrets to find, Celeste is the perfect last stop if you want a challenge that really means something. Alright, that wraps up our wild ride through 13 platformer legends, each one bursting with jumps, crazy moves, and worlds you'll want to keep exploring. No matter your mood, there's a game here to get you hyped, chilled, or chasing that next big win. So grab your favourite controller, dive into these adventures and just have fun, because these platformers prove that hopping around never gets old in 2025.
Where are you, Clank?
You okay, Bolts?
You came after me.
Pirate mateys, attack!